folks, Nathan Adlin here with the Fast Lane Car, and we have a special episode today of old versus new. And that's because we have a truck versus a car. We have a third generation Nissan Pathfinder versus a fourth generation Nissan Pathfinder. And why are we doing this? It's all your fault. Behold, the brand new 284 horsepower, 259 pound-feet of torque, 3.5 liter V6. This is actually an upgrade over the previous engine on the fourth generation. And it's hooked up to a continuously variable transmission, one that has been updated as well to make it feel more like a regular automatic transmission. Combined MPG with this setup, and remember, this is all-wheel drive, 21 miles per gallon. Obviously, this is a more goodie-packed machine because there are more goodies available. Let me give you an example. 360 bird's eye view, one of my favorite options on Nissan, or on any product. Nissan was one of the first car companies to do it with Infiniti. So you have that, you have obviously the TPMS and all that basic stuff, but you also have lane departure warning, you have radar controlled cruise control. These are big upgrades when you think about what you used to have. You also get cooled seats. There are no cooled seats in the old one, obviously. Now, in terms of overall driving dynamics, on the streets and on the highway, this is king. It has a wonderful highway ride. It's very squishy and smooth. The regular driving, day-to-day commuter stuff, this is also superior. Now this is the old 4-liter V6, and it puts out 266 horsepower and 288 pound-feet of torque. It is a torque monster. It's hooked up to a 5-speed automatic transmission. But here's the thing. Yes, this is 4-wheel drive, and it has an all-wheel drive setting. Unfortunately, no matter what you do, you're still going to get a combined 16 miles per gallon. That's an issue. When you get into the third generation versus the fourth, well, you're sitting really high in this one. You feel like you're sitting on top of something, and you truly are. There's a frame underneath. Basically, this is a Nissan Frontier. Although this had all the options that were considered hip at the time, by comparison, it's very little. This did have TPMS, tire pressure monitoring system. It does have rear view camera, which is nice. That's pretty much it. It doesn't really have much else. Yeah, it has cruise control, but it's not radar cruise control. Now, the one thing that this vehicle doesn't have, the V8 engine. Yes, you could get the V8 with this vehicle, and that started in 2008. And we're talking about a 310 horsepower V8 that's out of the Armada. So basically, this was like a baby Armada, but it also drives like a baby Armada. One of the big differences is the amount of noise that comes through the cabin in this vehicle is much more than the noise that comes out of the new one. The new one is smoother on the highway. This one's a little trouncy, bouncy. And even though it has a 4-wheel independent suspension, cornering-wise, the new one definitely beats the old one. Performance is one of the questions, and we have the answer because we did do a drag race between the two of these.
Here's a question. Which Pathfinder is faster?
Mine.
Third generation or brand new 2017 model? I'll be faster. I have a lot more technology under the hood.
Yeah, and I have more power and Nathan Leadfoot. I'll win.
I don't think Nathan stands a chance.
All right, Pathfinder versus Pathfinder.
Gonna take traction control off.
Yeah, this should be close.
1, 2, 3. Okay, flat footing it. The RPMs are building to like 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 RPM. And I'm still accelerating. No, it just does not want to take off.
I've come to a conclusion. Your vehicle's not that fast.
Yeah, that's the conclusion.
That's the conclusion? Okay, I just wanted to make sure you were on the same page.
Okay.
Very different vehicles and very different philosophies in terms of designing the interiors. While this is a truck interior, in other words, it's based on a frame below you and a fairly low roof, the other Pathfinder has a car-like interior. Much better headroom, much more comfortable legroom, more comfortable seats, altogether a more comfortable car to ride in. In terms of interior quality, the new Pathfinder is absolutely, without a doubt, the winner here. The new interior looks good, feels good, and is well put together. The old interior, well, there are a lot of gaps and a lot of cheap plastics that they used. Back in the day, this was the top of the line in terms of interiors, but it just didn't look very good. See that? That is the only styling cue between the two vehicles that matches. That, and then on the back, the word Pathfinder. They're very different, obviously. This is a truck, this is a car. This looks like a truck, this looks kind of like, yeah, almost a truck. Remember when I said at the very beginning it's your fault that they're now selling these instead of these? I have it here, this is the reason why. In 2008, that's the year of this vehicle, they sold 33,555. But 8 years later, they sold 81,701 of these. That's a significant difference. You guys stopped buying these, and that's why they stopped building them. They felt that they would have better luck building a crossover. Basically a wagon that's tall and has a decent all-wheel drive system, but not a truck. The final thing about both vehicles, in terms of emergency lane changes and brakes and everything else, the new one is just far superior. It is lighter, and that's one of the places where having less, around 300 pounds less than this, having that makes it a much easier car to throw around corners and to slam on the brakes when you need to and to drive through traffic. You were the one who told Nissan, all of you, that you wanted better economy, a more comfortable interior, a more car-like ride, and that's exactly what they did. They built that vehicle, which, by the way, comes out to around $45,000 for the platinum top-of-the-line version. Back in 2008, that one, the LE top-of-the-line minus the V8, came out to around $38,000. But remember, that was $2,008. Thanks for joining me for the Fast Lane Car. This is Nathan Adlin. Don't forget to go to tflcar.com for news, views, and real-world reviews, and more old versus new.